York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Toyota. Deer Spring, Toyota's adrenaline pumping lineup is ready for you. Toyota, let's go places. By Spectrum, it's internet, mobile, and streaming TV, all from one place. By Suffolk Credit Union, be a HELOC hero at Suffolk Credit Union. And by Jeep, there's only one.
I remember that shot. That's my son Garrett right there.
Little G.
Little G.
He's not so little anymore.
Not so little. He was here the other night. He came to a ball game here in Anaheim.
Let's all play ball. Don't miss Play Ball Weekend coming up June 5th through the 7th, encouraging youth everywhere to get out and play. Visit playball.org today to register for a free event near you. Your odds update presented by Bet365, where winning is everything. The marine layer, known to the rest of the world as clouds, is burning off. We should have another beautiful day in Southern California. First pitch coming up. On the Mets starting lineup today, Bo Bichette moves over to play shortstop with Brett Beatty getting to go back to his natural position at third. Luis Torrens, a day after his 30th birthday and his contract extension, in the lineup today, giving Alvarez a day off. Kids out to meet their heroes here in Anaheim. The Angels snapped a 7-game losing streak last night with their extra innings win over the Mets. There was a stream of Little Leaguers on the field circling the warning track before the game today. They say 11,000 Little Leaguers made their way to the ballpark at Angel Stadium today.
Well, that made a lot more sense because it seemed like they were circling for 2 hours. Jack Kwanowicz on the mound. We talked about his sinker. He's 6'7". He's coming from a high arm angle. He'll throw the change up on top of it in a four-seamer. Has trouble with the strike zone at times, but his whip is down to 1-2 from 1-7 last year, but it's primarily because he's given up fewer hits. Angels defense brought to you by Mohegan Sun. Today, infield, same as yesterday with Grissom at second, Peraza at third. Rivera does the catching today instead of our friend Travis d'Arnaud, who'd been in there. Trout back in center, low and left. And then Soler and Adele just did a flip-flop today with Soler now in right field and Adele getting the DH role.
Only the 6th time this year Soler has played the outfield. Kurt Suzuki, first-year skipper of the Angels, who got off to a hot start, then lost 11 of 12 before their win last night. Temperature around 68 degrees as game time approaches. The aforementioned marine layer is partially gone.
Marine layer.
How come they only call it that in California?
Because you're close enough to the coast that you can call it marine layer.
Do they call it that in the Philippines?
Unique. Maybe they do. Yeah.
Bo Bichette leads off. Kahanowitz's first pitch is in for a strike, and we're underway. Bichette 3 for 9 in this series. He had an RBI single yesterday, but was kicking himself after the game for not being able to come through in RBI spots in the 7th and the 10th. Into a bases loaded fielder's choice in the 7th, grounded into a double play in the 10th as the Mets were turned aside. Quickly down in the count 0-2 with Juan Soto and MJ Melendez to follow. And Kahanowitz spins one outside, 1-2. Kahanowitz had a dreadful year last year, made 23 starts for the Angels, went 3-11 with a 6.81 ERA, got sent to the minor leagues. But he has turned it completely around through his first 6 starts this year. Gets a chopper to the right side, waiting on it is Shonowell. Flips to the pitcher for the first out. And one of the reasons why Kahanowitz has been so much better is he's had great starts to games. Last year, or actually over the first couple of years of his career, he had an 8.74 first inning ERA. This year, he's allowed only 1 first inning run in his 6 starts.
And it must have to do with his command, because last year walked 58 batters in 111 innings. This time he's still walking a lot of guys, just giving up fewer hits.
Here's Juan Soto, 2 for 7 in this series. He fouls back at first pitch. Fastball, 0-1. Soto's reached base safely in all 18 games he's played this year. DHing again today, 2nd straight day. Trying to keep his bat in the lineup. He played left field in the first game of this series. Might play the field tomorrow in Colorado, but it's going to be a lot of DH at least for the time being, for Soto to make sure he's able to play every day. Second straight batter, Kahanowitz has got ahead 0-2, and he buries that slider. 1 ball, 2 strikes. His last start was against the White Sox on Monday. Gave up 2 earned runs in 6 innings. Wound up a no decision for him as the Angels bullpen blew up in an 8-7 loss. And the changeup outside, 2-2.
Soto with that front foot, that heel in the air with less than 2 strikes. 2 strikes, gets that heel flat, spreads out a little bit, even chokes on the bat a little bit, just to be able to control the strike zone, make good swing decisions.
And the fastball got him looking. Sinker on the outside corner at 98 miles an hour. And Soto is down on strikes for the 2nd out.
Yeah, that's a hard sinker. Everything he throws is hard. He's another one of those guys that we've seen emerge the last couple of years with a changeup at about 90 miles an hour to go with that 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now MJ Melendez 0 for 3 in this series, and he chops one to the right side. Big easy hop for Grissom, and that retires the side. Kahanowitz with an easy go of it. A 1-2-3 first. Clay Holmes to the mound when we come back.
In the U.S.
Monday starting lineup for the Angels. As Todd mentioned, Soler playing the outfield and Adele DHing. Young catcher Sebastian Rivero called up when Logan O'Hoppe got hurt, making just his 2nd start of the year for the Angels.
Clay Holmes on the mound today, last time out, 6 shutout innings against the Nats, using that sinker that we talked about very effectively. So about 49% of the time you'll see it, and he's throwing strikes. Op average only about 160 against that good sinker.
Zach Neto leads off for the Angels. Neto's 0 for 7 in this series. In fact, he's 0 for his last 15. 52 strikeouts for the year, most in the American League. Holmes makes him move his feet with his first sinker, ball 1. Holmes's whip, walks and hits per innings pitched, is now 7th in the National League, 0.97. He has the best ERA of any starter in the league at 1.75. Mets starting pitching staff has all of 5 wins this year, and Holmes has 3 of the 5, including his last time out against Washington when he threw 6 scoreless innings and the Mets scored 8 runs in an 8-0 win. Over the head of Neto with that breaking ball that didn't break.
I think the fans are reacting to it. Neto reacted to it a little bit, but no intent by Clay Holmes right there. That's a sweeper that didn't sweep. Barely got over his head, much like the one that Bo Bichette got out of the way of last night.
Remember, in the first game of the series, Neto got hit in the ribs by a Christian Scott fastball, wound up stealing 2nd and 3rd and scoring a run. Angels have been hit by more pitches than any team in the American League, 25 of them this year, like the Mets used to be. Mike Trout on deck, 2-1 coming, and he threw the sinker right by him, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Neto's good against the sinker, 304, 4 homers. He's got that low swing. He loves the ball down in the strike zone with that good launch angle.
26 home runs last year. And he chops one foul. Zach Neto now in his 4th year with the Angels. He was a 1st-round pick in 2022. Miami native who played his college ball at Campbell, the Camels, in Buies Creek, North Carolina. 2-2. Popped it up behind first base. A long one for Vientos, and he won't get there. It lands untouched.
Mets defense today brought to you by Car Shield. Well, we got Bo Bichette, as we talked about, at shortstop in the absence of Ronnie Mauricio, and then that moves Beatty to third base, Viento at first. Luis Torrens, after celebrating his birthday and a contract extension, doing the catching, and then the outfield, as we've seen the last couple of days, Melendez, bench, and Taylor in center.
Again, the 2-2, and that's bricked foul into the netting. So a long turn at bat for Neto to start this bottom of the 1st, with Trout and Shonowell to follow. 8th pitch of the at bat. And he takes it low and away, a changeup, and he's 3-2. This is Holmes' first ever start against the Angels. 9 career games in relief. 3 saves. But this is a different animal. Just his 42nd career start. 3-2 coming to Neto. And he pulls that one foul. And often is said that a leadoff hitter not only succeeds by getting on base, but by allowing his teammates to see everything that the pitcher has in his arsenal.
You know, it's one thing that Bo Bichette doesn't necessarily do usually as a leadoff guy. Likes to swing early.
Pitch number 10 from Holmes, and Neto pops one foul, and we'll do it again. He's had a lot of foul balls in his last start against the Nats. Gave up only 3 hits and a walk over 6 innings, but it cost him 94 pitches to do it. And Neto works out the walk. An 11-pitch walk to open the bottom of the first. And that'll get Mike Trout to the plate with a man on. Trout had a couple of hits last night. He's on an interesting streak right now. In his last 4 games, he's struck out 9 times. He's put the ball in play 5 times and gotten a hit on every one of them. Takes inside, ball 1. That's now reached base safely in 21 straight games. 3-time MVP, last one coming in 2018, but he has been resurgent in 2026. Big lead for Neto, who can steal bases, and Trout bounces one foul, and it's 1-1. Neto has 7 steals in 10 tries, 26 steals last year. Holmes is not easy to run on, even though he doesn't have a great pickoff move. He's quick to the plate.
Big lead this time. He got an extra step.
Curveball misses outside, 2-1.
Clay does a good job of holding the runners, but then you've got the best throwing catcher in baseball right now behind the plate, Luis Torrens.
Best paid backup catcher in baseball.
That's for sure.
Trout lays off the sinker, and now Holmes, after walking the leadoff hitter, is behind 3-1. Olin Shonowell, left-hand hitter, waiting on deck. Trout starts the day 3rd in the American League in on-base percentage, 7th in slugging. Yanks that one foul, and now it's 3-2. So back-to-back full counts to the first 2 hitters for Clay. Mike Trout now in his 16th season, all with the Angels. That's a new club record. Well, Garrett Anderson's mark, the late Garrett Anderson, played 15 seasons for the Angels. 3-2, Neto at first. He's running, and the pitch is low outside, ball 4, so Holmes has walked the first 2.
Holmes this season has been almost flawless with men on base. Something he's going to have to try to work himself out of. We've got Shonowell up here, hits a lot of ground balls, a lot of double play balls. Going to try to work one out right now.
With runners on base this year, the opposition is 4 for 53 against Clay Holmes. See if he can continue to work that magic. Shonowell's grounded into 8 double plays this year. Goes after a first pitch sinker and comes up empty, 0-1. Shonowell 2 for 8 in this series. He's already had to work awfully hard to the first 2 hitters after Neto worked him for an 11-pitch walk to start. And Shonowell pops one foul, and Clay gets ahead 0-2. Jorge Soler is the cleanup hitter. He's out on deck. Soler, a 2-run homer in the first inning in the opening game of this series against Christian Scott. Shonowell right on top of the plate. And he struck out on the changeup, and Holmes finally has his first out. So after walking a pair, Holmes makes quick work of Shonowell. One away.
Good change up right there by Clay. You see that looks like a strike all the way, and then the bottom just drops out of it. Late, Shonowell thought he was going to come in on him, kept it out over the plate and down.
And now Soler, who has one of the hardest hits in this series and easily the softest hit in this series. A 2-run homer on Friday, and then a 48-mile-an-hour flare to the right side of the infield that he was able to beat out for an infield hit. 22-game on-base streak, 8-game hitting streak for Soler, who's 6th in the American League in RBIs with 25. Netter dancing off second, and Holmes gets the curveball in for a strike, and it's 0-2.
That's a good pitch for Clay. That curveball, something he added this season. Using the sinker more, adding the curveball, going away from trying to go with the sweeper quite as much, to land that curveball a little bit easier.
0-2 to Soler. First to look back at second. In his first 6 starts, even though his ground ball rate is even higher than last year, Holmes has only gotten 2 ground ball double plays behind him. That's with a different infield look today, with Bichette at short and Beatty at third. Soler lays off on the sweeper. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Joe Adell is on deck. The Angels, despite their recent woes, are still 4th in the American League in runs scored, 4th in on-base percentage, 5th in slugging, 2nd in walks. Already drawn a couple of walks in this inning. And Soler pounds that one into the ground. Still 1-2. Holmes comes into the leading the National League in ERA among qualifiers.
Been outstanding. The sinker. I've loved watching his transformation, going from a reliever to a starter. He thought he needed the whole arsenal. Now he realized that sinker plays whether you're starting or relieving.
Already his 25th pitch of this opening inning. And Soler hits one toward the hole. That'll go through for a base hit. Neto around third. He'll come in with the first run of the game. And it's 1-0 Angels. Bichette playing over toward the hole against the right-hand batter. And Soler hits it in the vacated space for an RBI hit.
All right through there. And Bichette, as you're saying, playing the pull with the guy that throws a lot of sinkers, and the guy that pulls a lot. You want to cover that hole, but that's a ball that could have been a double play ball if he was playing a little more at the middle.
So for the 3rd straight day, the Angels score in the 1st inning. Anyway, going back to last night's 1st inning run, Carlos Mendoza said after the game the Mets just made a mistake in not challenging the timing play that brought in the 1st run of the game. No excuses made. Just they made a mistake. Now Joe Adell, after Justin Willard gives Holmes a blow after 25 pitches, still only 1 out. And Adell swings and misses at a first pitch sinker, 0-1. Adell 3 for 8 in this series. DHing today after playing right field in the first 2 games. Can't rob home runs when you're DHing, can you?
Let's hope not.
Chopped to third, grabbed by Beatty, steps on the bag, the throw across, perfect for the 5-5-3 double play. Just what Holmes needed to limit the damage. Angels get 1 and lead 1-0. Brett Beatty leads off in the 2nd inning. Mets down 1-0. Bluffs at a bunt and takes ball 1 from Kahanowitz. Brett bluffing the bunt even with the 3rd baseman Peraza playing at the edge of the grass. Brett just 1 for his last 17. And he swings and misses at a good changeup by Kahanowitz. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kahanowitz had an easy 1-2-3 inning in the 1st, strikeout and 2 ground balls, and now he's working with the lead. And Beatty takes one the other way for a base hit with that 3rd baseman playing in. He slaps it right on by, and the Mets have their first base runner of the day.
Good job by Brett Beatty staying on that ball. He was out in front of the changeup, but he was selling out on fastball, which they need to do a little bit more of. And now he just stays in there and recognizes that hole. That's something he's done really well in his career when he's hot, is use that opposite field, been trying to pull a little bit too much. Great job right there.
I wonder if Marcus Semien steps in. As he pops one up into shallow center. Late start for Trout coming in, and he gets there to make the catch. Trout's first step was back, but he was able to hurry in and make the play for the first out.
Trout still has some pretty good closing speed, takes a step back and then comes in. Once he gets on his horse, easily catching up to it.
They moved to the corner the last couple of years with all his injuries. Asked to play center field this year. They've granted his request, and he's played it well. 1 out and 1 on. Here's Carson Bench. And he drops down a bunt, and that goes foul. They were playing back against Bench. And with his speed, he doesn't even have to make that good a bunt to be able to beat it out.
Well, we talked about the velocity of Kohanowitz in that sinker, 92.8 miles an hour. He's got about 97, 98 in the tank if he wants to crank it up.
That's the average of all his pitches,
yes,
including his changeup and his slider. It's a little misleading.
Yeah, he does throw a very hard changeup as well. I like that idea by Carson Bench.
1-1 to Carson. Third baseman playing a little closer now. And Kohanowitz misses down with the sinker. 2 balls and a strike. I was going to say, I wonder whether for Brett Beatty, going back to playing third base for at least the time being might be a tonic for him.
I think the Mets hope so. I think Carlos hopes so.
I mean, I don't know how much third base he'll play, whether they're going to play Bichette most of the time at short or whether Brujan will get more of the reps there. But Beatty's been moved all over the place, and at the same time his offense has suffered. Bench pounds one foul. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Dana Point?
Dana Point, yes. Lovely Dana Point.
There's a lot of lovely around here.
A lot of lovely.
Orange
Newport
County.
Harbor and that Dana Point. Yeah, it's
Huntington Beach. I mean, there's lots going on. Beatty at first, 3-2 to Bench, not running, and Bench takes a walk, and the Mets have 2 men on. So a good turn at bat there for Carson. First walk given up by Kohanowitz. He's walked 19 batters in 36 innings this year, so he will walk some people. And Mark Vientos will get a chance to make something of it.
You mentioned Beatty and whether it could be the tonic. It certainly, if he swings the bat, that's the elixir that they're looking for. So if he starts hitting over there, there's a good chance they might keep him there to see if that helps.
Vientos 1 for 4 in this series. Mark's overall average is 238, but he's hitting almost 100 points higher with runners in scoring position. 333 on the season. Good speed on the bases with Beatty at second and Bench at first, and the sinker in at the knees for a strike to Vientos. 1-1.
This is a guy with Mark Vientos where you really got to try to concentrate on staying through the middle and the right side. Sinker coming in on you. He wants you to pull to try to get that ground ball double play.
Umpiring quartet. Chris Conroy is the crew chief. He's got the plate today. Tyler Jones, Ben May, and John Tumpane on the bases. Vientos takes a slider outside, and it's 2-1. This Angels outfield plays so deep, particularly Trout in center field. Mark has to do is hit himself a line drive. He'll have himself an RBI. Chops one foul on the sinker, and now it's 2-2. You see a lot of balls pounded right into the ground by both these pitchers.
Yeah, right on right with that sinker coming into you. Your tendency is you want to pull to try to keep it off your hands, but that's actually what the pitcher wants to do because most of the time you'll be off the barrel and on the ground.
Tyrone Taylor on deck. 2-2 coming to Vientos. And Mark takes his slider well out of the strike zone, and Kahanowitz has not been able to land that slider at all in the early going. His fastball and his changeup have been working, but not his breaking ball. It's a very high spin breaking ball, but one he does not have great command of. 3-2 to Vientos. And Mark goes down swinging on the fastball, and that's the second strikeout for Kahanowitz. 2 out. So Tyrone Taylor bats with 2 out and 2 on. That's right now we're sitting at the bottom among the 30 major league teams at 11 and 22. Not only that, but with the Braves red hot, that's now 12 and a half games out of first place on the 3rd of May. Taylor had a big hit yesterday, tied up the game with an RBI single in the 7th, 1 for 7 in the series. Batting here with 2 out and 2 on in the 2nd. And that slider again misses badly, and it's 2-0.
2 more bad sliders. As a hitter, especially a right-handed hitter, you just put that out of your mind. If he happens to paint one with it, you tip your hat, but you eliminate that pitch from your thought process. Think hard, think sinker, think through the middle.
2-0 to Taylor. And Tyrone flies one into center field. Should be easy for Trout. And that retires the side. Mets strand a couple in the 2nd. 1-0 Angels. Head to Citi Field for interleague play when the Mets take on the Tigers Tuesday, May the 12th through Thursday, May the 14th. For tickets, go to Mets.com/tickets. Josh Lowe leads off the home second and takes a strike from Clay Holmes. Holmes threw 27 pitches in the first inning. That's the most he's thrown in any inning this season. Walked the first couple and gave up a run-scoring hit to Jorge Soler. Lowe rolls one to second base. A grass cutter to Semien. 1 away. So Holmes looking for a quick inning after a laborious first. Time that Holmes has allowed a first-inning run since his first start of the season. Here's Vaughn Grissom in a big hit last night, a 2-run single that put the Angels up in the 4th inning. Grissom, the former Brave and Red Sox, who spent all of last year in the minors, off to a hot start. It's only the 12th game he started for the Angels. He has supplanted Yoan Moncada the last couple of days, and Adam Frazier, because he's hitting .318. Good sinker by Holmes, and it's 1-1. Grissom has always hit well against the Mets, going back to his days with the Braves. Lifetime .353 against New York. That curveball drops in for a strike, 1-2. Mets are going to Colorado after the game today. Supposed to get some very cold and even snowy weather in Denver. Pulled foul. The Rockies, after they swept the Mets, have gone on to lose 4 of their next 5. There's a quirk today in the standings that has never happened before. All 5 teams in the NL West came into today with at least a 3-game losing streak. Since divisional play began in 1969, it's the first time that every team in a division has gone into a day with at least a 3-game losing streak.
That is pretty crazy. Usually there's one of those teams playing each other, which will offset that. Dodgers maybe going to break down one today, 4-1 in the 9th.
Below the knees, 3-2. How about this for a quirk? The Dodgers are playing the Cardinals today. They're up 4-1 in the 9th. Justin Robleski, who under the radars, had a great start for LA. Had the kind of start that you never see anymore. 6 scoreless innings, no strikeouts.
Wow.
I mean, that's just...
I don't see those anymore at all.
That's old school. 3-2 to Grissom, and that's inside, ball 4. So Holmes issues his 3rd walk of the day. Just the road ahead. Radio home for the Mets is 8:80 a.m. and streaming on the free Odyssey app. Mets will be in Colorado for 3 games. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, off Thursday, and then over the weekend in Arizona before they come home to play the Tigers and the Yankees. Peraza, who had the game-winning hit last night, first walk-off of Oswald Peraza's career. Peraza hits a double play ball. Bichette comes up for him. He gets it to Semien and on to first for the double play. Bichette had to handle that offbeat hop. And the Mets turn 2 to get Holmes through the inning.
They forgot there was actually 3 outs.
Good hands play, adjusting to a rough hop.
Yeah, this ball came up on him last second. He is able to adjust with it, make the nice flip. The adjustment from third to short, I think the toughest part about it for him is that he's got more time again. And you got to get used to that timing on charging ground balls.
The good news is that Bichette made a really nice play. The bad news is that everybody on the infield seemed to not know how many out there were. And to me, that's a sign of a team that's a little distracted right now.
It is. They all looked at each other and they weren't quite sure. I wonder if now with the replay, the guys get hesitant on anything close before they come off the field?
Hey, maybe run off the field before anybody can say anything. I mean, it used to be you turn a double play and guys would be, yeah, let's get off the field and go in the dugout and hit. Here's Terens, his first at bat since his contract extension. There you see, after the double play is turned, they all are standing around, even the pitcher. The outfielders knew how many out there were. Terens signed a 2-year contract extension that will go through 2028, and he signed it on his 30th birthday, which is a nice birthday present. If he had gone to free agency this winter, was the possibility he might have found a starting job somewhere. Backhand play by Grissom, and he throws out Terens one away. He was very secure with this Mets organization. They gave him a generous offer for a backup catcher, and he took it.
I think it's a good move for both him and this Mets team. I mean, you call him a backup catcher, but he's as good a catcher as there is in the game. He qualifies because he gets a lot of reps back there, and Albie's been hurt last couple of years as well.
Bichette, who grounded out his first time. He hits one back up the middle for a base hit. We've talked about this a lot. Unlike most right-hand hitters, they have to play the second baseman at home on the right side. It opens up the middle for Bichette more than for most hitters.
And they don't shade the shortstop up the middle either, because when he does pull the ball, he pulls it in that 5-6 hole. So like a conventional old-time hitter, where my dad used to say, that's a hit for 100 years. Hit it back at the pitcher, well, it's a hit still for him.
Second hit for the Mets against Kahanowitz. That'll get Soto to the plate with a man on. One takes a slider inside for ball 1. Soto was caught looking on it. A 2-2 sinker that caught the outside corner his first time up. Juan has a hit in 6 straight games, has reached base safely in all 18 games he's played this year. Kahanowitz starting him off with a couple of sliders, a pitch that he still has not been able to land. And now he's 2-0 to Soto. And Jay Melendez waiting on deck. And Soto takes fastball strike, 2-1.
Juan didn't think it was a strike. He's going to challenge it.
Pitch is called a strike, batter's challenging.
And it is a strike.
Pitch is strike.
There have been a couple just like that Soto has lost a challenge on. Got a great knowledge of the strike zone, but pitchers call those clippers, the ones that just clip the zone.
That certainly was a clipper right there. That's about as close as it can become.
So the Mets down to 1 challenge. Soto grounds one down to first, grabbed by Shotwell. He bobbles it and then flips the glove to the pitcher, and they get the out. Soto thinks that he beat the play at first.
The ball was stuck in the glove, so Shotwell had to throw the glove to the pitcher. He called him out, but then safe because I think he was still bobbling the glove / ball when Soto got to first base. Shotwell, you look, he wants to throw to second, but he can't get it out. Why? Because it's stuck in the web. He alertly flips the glove, but it's a little too late, and there's a little bit of a bobble there when Soto comes across the first base. There's the toss. He's trying to catch glove to glove, but doesn't really have possession.
That is a very odd play, and they've just brought a new glove out for Shotwell.
But they ended up calling Soto out. I'm surprised
they did call him out, and the Mets did not challenge the call.
They're not challenging that. That ball was bounced. It looked like he didn't have possession of the glove / ball when he crossed.
Shades of Terry Mulholland. Sanjay Melendez with a runner at second and 2 out. Mets have had that play happen against them a couple of times. Terry Mulholland did it against the Mets, and El Duque did it at Yankee Stadium.
Okay, bobbling. I don't know. That seems like that was worthy of a challenge. Certainly the bench felt like it was a bobble. It's like a wide receiver on a ball going out of bounds. Did he have possession or did he not?
That one hits Melendez in the foot, and he'll go to first base. So Kahanowitz all over the place with his breaking ball. And the Mets have 2 men on for Beatty.
I'm surprised they're calling it still, quite honestly. He's got a decent changeup that he's commanding okay. That slider is not doing anything for him because it's not fooling anybody, and he's throwing it for balls. The hitters have just eliminated it.
Remember, you have a very inexperienced catcher behind the plate in Sebastian Rivero, making just his 2nd start of the year. So now 2 out and 2 on for Beatty, who had an opposite field single his first time up. And Brett attacks the first one and grounds it foul.
That's twice that he's been ready to attack the first pitch fastball. First time up, got the changeup and swung and missed badly, but stayed in the at-bat. I don't mind the aggressive approach on the fastballs because the Mets have been so bad at squaring up fastballs early in the counts especially.
Bichette at second, Melendez at first with 2 out. A pickoff try, and Bichette gets back in standing as Kahanowitz almost threw that ball away.
See the umpire looking to see if the foot is on the bag and not necessarily whether he's bobbling the ball. You can't really tell exactly where his eyes are, but it looks like he's checking the foot on the bag, not necessarily where he had possession.
Here's the thing about that, and I'm not sure exactly how you rule it. I think that Kahanowitz might have had the glove in his glove at the point where Soto put his foot on the bag. But the ball was not in his glove. The ball was sticking out of Shotwell's glove, not in Kahanowitz's glove. Now, do you have a theory of transference there, where if you have the glove in your glove, it counts as having the ball in your glove? Because the ball was definitely not in his glove.
That's a great point. It would be really interesting if it was around a tag play. Can you tag a guy with another guy's glove with the ball stuck in the glove? You have to get him with the ball.
2-2 to Beatty. I mean, watch where the ball is. It's sticking out of his glove. Right?
Yeah, the glove is in the glove, but the ball is not necessarily in the pitcher's glove.
Very odd play. 2 out, 2 on 2, and 2 to Beatty. And Brett carves one foul to stay on the at-bat. Marcus Semien would be next. Tying run at second with 2 down. And Beatty goes down swinging on the fastball. And Kahanowitz puts down another threat. Mets have left 2 on in each of the last 2 innings. Still 1-0 Angels. Sebastian Rivero leading off for the Angels in the home third. Rivero's second start since being called up to replace the injured Logan O'Hoppe on the roster. O'Hoppe, the West Islip native, has a fractured wrist. Travis d'Arnaud caught the first 2 games of the series. Rivero has come off the bench in each of those first 2 games, but this is his first plate appearance of the series. 27 years old. He had a handful of big league games with the Royals in 21 and 22, 11 games with the Angels last year. And all 103 big league at bats in his career. Fouls off the sweeper. Zach Neto on deck, and then Mike Trout. And Holmes strikes out Rivero. Tossed by Torrens for the 2-3 putout. Second strikeout for Holmes. 1 away in the third.
Nice job by Clay getting the chase with that sweeper. Down and away. Torrens picked it. Just had to make the tag.
So 1 out. Here's Neto, who worked an 11-pitch walk to start the first inning and came in to score the game's only run. Ball and a strike to Neto with Mike Trout on deck. Foul, and it's 1-2. Well, Pete Alonso did not homer at Yankee Stadium today.
He had a couple of hits still, though. He likes hitting there. Not such great luck for the rest of that Orioles.
Yankees have taken the first 3 of that 4-game series. They won 11-3 today. Ben Rice, who's been red hot, hit another home run, but he also came out of that game with an injured hand, so that bears watching. Speaking of injuries, Ronald Acuna went down with a hamstring injury last night for the Braves, and they did place him on the injured list today. Braves have won 14 of their last 17. High fly ball, shallow left center. Ambling in is Melendez to call. Neto retired 2 away.
Clay probably glad to see Neto just put it in place somewhere. Battled and last time. Lots of pitches. That time makes the out.
So Holmes with a chance for his first 1-2-3 inning, but he's got to get through Trout, who drew a walk his first time up. Clay has walked 3, which matches the most he's walked in a game this season. Trout hits one through the hole, and he's got a base hit. That's the second hit against Holmes, a 2-out single.
And he's kept up the streak that you were talking about. If he puts it in play, it's a hit.
Last 5 games, he's put it in play 6 times and gotten 6 hits.
That back foot taking that step back. He's so good on the ball coming down and in.
Now Nolan Shonowell, who struck out on 3 pitches his first time up, takes a sweeper up high. And Shonowell rips one to right, but Benj is right there to grab it. Bullet off the bat of Shonowell for the 3rd out. Hit it 1 left. 1-0 Angels after 3. Marcus Semien starts the 4th inning. Marcus flied out to center his first time up, and he went around on the swing on that slider. One of the few that Kohanowitz has been able to land. He continues to struggle to find his breaking ball, but he's stranded 4 runners the last 2 innings. Slider off the plate, and it's 1-1.
One of the few guys on this Mets team that Kohanowitz has faced a few times, 13 at bats, and Simeon's been good against him with 6 hits coming into today.
The other Met who had faced him before is Bichette. Nothing but all speed stuff. Carson Bench on deck, and then Mark Vientos for the Mets in the 4th. And Semien strikes out on the slider. And that's strikeout number 4 for Kohanowitz as we check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
So guys, I want you to take a quick look at this picture, because every offseason Angel Stadium is transformed from a baseball field into a motocross monster truck dirt track. It's like that for about 2 months, from right after Christmas until the end of February. And then if you're a grounds crew member here, you really have to work overtime. They turn that field back to a playable baseball field in just 13 days. It starts with the process of removing all of the dirt, which takes about a week to haul off all of that dirt. Then they use a grinder to break everything up underneath before laser leveling everything out. At that point, they put the irrigation system back underneath and then take 2 days to lay 100,000 square feet of Bermuda grass, laying the sod down, let that grow, and a few days later, you're able to play high school baseball back on the field. That happens every single offseason here and has been happening for decades.
And we thought sharing a baseball stadium with a football team would tear things up. Wow. I mean, wow.
I hope that event brings in a lot of revenue for this Angels.
Bench tried to hold, and he went around 2-2. I mean, think about how much it costs in terms of man hours and everything else, equipment, to transform the field. So they better make a hefty profit. And low bridges his first base coach, Gilbert Gomez, who went down in a heap.
Smart move. Keep your eyes on the baseball.
All those base coaches wear helmets. 2-2 to the bench with Vientos on deck. And Carson fouls off the fastball.
Nice play by a fan in the second deck. Getting some high fives.
We haven't gotten one in our booth here, but this probably is the best bet we'll have all year.
Prime territory right here.
It's not quite old Tiger Stadium. Tiger Stadium, the booth was so close to the field that you either had to put a net up in front of you, as Ernie Harwell often did, or you had to bring a glove. It was so close that you could hear conversations going on between hitters and umpires at the plate. That's a walk for Bench, second walk he's drawn today.
That's what you mentioned when you were talking about Tiger Stadium yesterday. Hearing those conversations may not be something that anybody wants to have happen anymore, but this is good low territory right here. You feel like I'd like to have a glove. It's got to be a right-handed hitter, but you know, there's been a couple of close.
And it can't be a line drive back because there's a net up between us and the hitter, but you get a little bit of loft on it. You could have one in your lap. Of course, we had the incident in Baltimore last year where there was a foul ball that sailed right past Keith's ear, and he never even knew it.
Maybe just as well. Maybe just as well that he didn't know it might have moved into it instead of away from it.
Well, fortunately, he was looking down at the monitor, and maybe the monitor would have saved him if it had been heading right for his forehead. Keith, by the way, will be back in the booth tomorrow night in Denver, where it is supposed to snow in the next couple of days. Yes, snow in May. Vientos cracks one to deep center field. Trout goes back and takes a look. That is gone. Mark Vientos into the rock pile. A 2-run shot to put the Mets in front. Now, Vientos has only hit 3 home runs this year, but he has hit some monster Just drives.
Such a good job of the swing right there. He's had good takes, staying a little more upright. We've seen him when he crouches at the waist, he can kind of loop a little bit. Now he's going directly to the baseball, and he certainly didn't miss that one. We've heard the crack of the bat. We're talking about being down close to the field. The crack of the bat told us right there, if I saw it or not, that was going out.
So the Mets just like that, taking 2-1 lead. And now Tyrone Taylor. And that was like a cannon shot off the bat of Vientos. He earned the hard hat. Only the second home run Kohanowitz has given up this year, and now Taylor bounces one foul.
You see Mark, as I said, staying a little more upright, taking the bat path directly to the baseball. That's a ball that Kohanowitz wanted at the bottom of the strike zone. Didn't get it low enough.
427 feet off the bat of Vientos.
Not to go unnoticed. Nice at bat by Carson Bench to work from a 2-strike count to get that walk to be on there for Vientos.
Taylor rolls everyone down to third. Rosal one-hands it and throws him out 2 away. For the Mets club that began the day last in the National League in slugging, they need for somebody, anybody, to start getting extra base hits on a regular basis. Vientos 2 years ago was one of those guys. He hit 27 home runs. And with the Mets moving some pieces around with all the injuries, it's likely that Mark will be in the lineup more, getting the start against a right-hander today, with Beatty moving over to third and Bichette to short. Torrens strikes out on 3 pitches. Rivero makes the throw to first, and that retires the side, but not before Mark Vientos gives the Mets the lead with a 2-run homer.
Baseball has been America's favorite and
this is in 2002, outlasting the Giants in 7 games. Mike Scioscia was the manager. Tim Salmon, one of the big stars on that team. The late Garrett Anderson, World Series MVP. Great team. Darren Erstad, Troy Gloss, Frankie Rodriguez, John Lackey. Clay Holmes with the lead for the first time. Jorge Soler drove in the Angels run with the first inning single. Troy Gloss was the MVP. It was Anderson who had the big hit, though, in Game 7.
Another Bruin, Gary, I'm not going to tell you. Troy Gloss. Keep an eye on my Bruins out there.
Well, you should.
And he hits a golf ball further than he hits a baseball.
Is that true?
My gosh, he hits a golf ball. Yeah, you want him on your scramble team if you're playing golf with him.
Is that like a breakfast food? What I know about golf, you can put on a tee.
You can't put it on a tee. It's not moving. You should be able to hit it well, right? It's so easy.
1-2 to Soler, leading off in the home 4th. Holmes overthrew that fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Joe Adell on deck, and then Josh Lowe. Well, it's been a long drought for the Angels, who haven't even had a winning season since 2015. And that breaking ball drops in for a called 3rd strike. So Holmes has his 3rd strikeout. There's that big hit by Garrett Anderson in Game 7.
Garrett Anderson had one of the smoothest swings you've ever seen. His foot gets down early. Felt like a long swing, but it was always on time. Saw him do a lot of great things. It had that kind of stoic attitude all the time, which many people think he didn't care, but he cared, and he was great.
Garrett Anderson passed away just recently at the ridiculously young age of 53. Have to think that at some point his number will be retired here. Much like the Mets until a few years ago, they've only retired a very few numbers here. Jim Fragosi's number 11, Rod Carew's number 29, and Nolan Ryan's number 30. Those are the only players who've ever had their numbers retired here. Dell fouls one back.
Yeah, and you would think that a guy like Aaron Anderson, I mean, this guy put together an amazing career, 17 years, had over 2,000 hits, had over 1,300 RBIs, just quiet leader.
Got to see him a little bit late in his career when he went to Atlanta, but never really got to see him a lot when he was at the apex of his career.
I had a few years when I was with the Texas Rangers where we were playing this Angels team quite a bit, and he was always a thorn.
Adele grounded into a double his first time, and he pulls that one foul. Mike Trout just recently passed Garrett Anderson for the Angels' all-time extra base lead. Trout leads the franchise in just about every other category.
Holmes landing a couple of good sweepers right there, and Adele doing a good job fighting them off, but he gets so much movement on all of his pitches. He gets a lot of vertical movement on his breaking balls and a lot of horizontal movement on his sinker.
And a foul ball right at the plate, but Torrens unable to squeeze it.
Good changeup right there, and you see the dip on that. It's a heavy moving pitch, whether it's going into the right-hander or away, and it's really tough to get on the barrel consistently.
This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat to Adele. And he struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Holmes to start the bottom of the 4th. It's rather amazing that a guy who had spent virtually his entire career as a relief pitcher has made this seamless a transition to starting.
Well, when we talked to him in spring training last season, and he talked about making the transition, a lot of people talked about lengthening him out.
Josh Lowe flies from the center.
But it was really more about him thinking that he needed a lot of pitches to be a starter. He really needs the good sinker change-up combination.
Shutdown inning for Holmes. Don't miss the chance to have your youth baseball or softball team's picture featured in an upcoming Mets game on SNY. Just scan the code and submit your team photo today. It's a Little Leaguers on hand here today. Mets have a 2-1 lead as they come to bat in the 5th. Third time around the order for Jack Kahanowitz. And he gets a fastball in for a strike to Bo Bichette. Kahanowitz, unlike a lot of pitchers, has actually done better the 3rd time around the order than he has the first 2. Ground ball up the middle. To his left goes Neto. Gets the throw away, and a good stretch by Shonowell. And they retire Bichette. Bichette had singled in almost the exact same spot in his previous at-bat. This time Neto was able to get to it.
He was. That one was chopped a little bit, so the ball slowed down and came up. Neto able to range over. I was looking at that hole right before he hit that one. Thought he might have another chance for a base hit.
Sixth ground ball out for Kahanowitz. And now Soto was retired on a very weird play in the 3rd inning. Ground ball to first. Stuck in the glove of Shonowell, who tossed the glove with the ball in it to the pitcher covering. Kahanowitz bobbled it, but held on in time for the out.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to see that one a few times on replay over the next day or so. I'm wondering, the question that you asked, which is the great question, is the glove in the glove count as the ball in the glove?
Yanked foul by Soto, and it's 2-1. Angels have done a good job against Soto in this series. There's a couple of singles in 9 at-bats. But not hitting the ball with nearly the authority he did at the end of the last homestand. Gets this one in the air to right center field, playable for Trout. And Mike makes the catch, 2 out.
Juan showing some emotion there, got a pitch. That was the slider that Kohanowitz has had trouble commanding. You could see him not happy about missing that one. Kohanowitz left it in a position that he could have driven it.
Couldn't even catch the bat when he tossed it in the air. That was his intent.
He wanted to make sure he didn't hit the catcher after he threw it in the air.
There's MJ Melendez. I mean, we always tell the little leaguers, don't throw your bat.
Do as you say, not as you do. Is that the coaching technique for 11-year-olds?
Melendez was hit on the foot by a pitch his last time up. And he lines one into center field for a base hit. Went down and got that changeup. And the Mets had their 4th hit against Kohanowitz, a 2-out single. So Melendez keeps coming through.
Sure does. He's got that low hands. Takes a little, see that leg kick, but he stays down through the baseball. Short arm, short, quick approach to the baseball.
Now Brett Beatty, who was singled and struck out, 1 for 2. Takes that slider down for ball 1. I would love to see the ball strike breakdown on his slider today. I mean, he's thrown it for strikes maybe twice the whole day, 3 times, but he's thrown it a lot. This is way with it as he backed up on him. It's 2-0.
Simeon will tell you that he threw a couple of good ones to him, but those were about the only ones, and he probably kept going to it because Simeon has done well against Kohanowitz in the past.
I mean, his slider has been his most used pitch today. He's thrown it 38% of the time. Two and 1 to Beatty. This is down with the changeup, and good block by Rivera to keep it in front of him. 3-1.
Good job, conventional block. I think it's tougher when you start on a knee. You've got to have the ball stay in front of you. Just turn the glove over. Not a lot to do right there. Takes a lot of responsibility away from the catchers. I think they get away with a lot more by being on a knee and not having the responsibility of having to stop it. It's outside of that spot.
And Beatty takes it wide for ball 4, and the Mets have 2 men on. So that's the 3rd walk issued by Kohanowitz.
A couple of good at-bats by Beatty today. Staying patient, some good takes.
The entire infield grouping at the mound. No visit, though, from the pitching coach. Mike Maddox staying in the dugout. Next to Kurt Suzuki. Kohanowitz up to 84 pitches. He's thrown as many as 97 in the game already this year. CarShield presents streaming of SNY on the MLB app. Stay on top of all the amazing action anytime on any device. Free with eligible TV subscription. Scan the code to download the MLB app today. So an RBI chance for Marcus Semien, who's hitting .343 this year with runners in scoring position. Melendez at second, Beatty at first with 2 out. And the first pitch slider fouled off.
He threw Simeon a whole batch of sliders last at bat, including a good strikeout slider, and came back with the first one here. Obviously what he's trying to get him to swing at.
Angels bullpen gets started. We'll say Fermin starts to warm up. And that slider off the plate to Semien, 1-1. So it's clear what his game plan is against Marcus. Now the question is, can he execute it again in an RBI situation? Melendez is second, Beatty at first. Another slider. It's 3 in a row, 2-1. Semien has 6 hits against Kahanowitz. Only one player has that many, and that's Julio Rodriguez.
Hey guys, a part of Major League life game, that's Vidal Brujan, who has made his way into the dugout. Injury late last night on the West Coast. You can't just appear, so get out here and saying hi to all his teammates and coaches as he has now officially joined the roster.
And he's wearing Bobby Valentine's number 2. Bobby was here the other night. Full count to Semien, so Melendez and Beatty will be running. And Marcus swings and misses at a backup slider for strike 3. 6 strikeouts for Kahanowitz as he works out of another jam.
And the Blue Moon.
Get more backyard for your budget with low prices guaranteed. You'll get more ways to make it yours during Spring Backyard Days, now through May 6th at the Home Depot.
Home 5th inning, 2-1 New York. Vaughn Grissom leads off against Clay Holmes and takes a strike. Holmes at a 1-2-3 4th inning, his first of the game. After getting the lead on Mark Vientos' 2-run homer, now he faces the lower third of the order in the 5th. And Grissom bounces one down to third. Beatty's got it, and the throw is true, 1 away. Around the Majors presented by Jeep this week. Rob Acuna goes on the injured list for the Braves. Nick Kurtz's 20-game walk streak ends. So did Ildemaro Vargas' 27-game hitting streak that stopped last night. Aaron Buxton's been hot for the Twins, and Phillies won again today to go to 5-1 under Don Mattingly. They got a 3-run homer from Bryson Stott to beat the Marlins 7-2. Oswald Peraza, after his heroics last night, grounded into a double play his first time up today. Trying to drop down a bunt, and he fouled it at the plate, and it's 0-2. Austin Warren was right on the verge of pulling another rabbit out of his hat last night.
Sure was.
Bottom of the 10th, bases loaded, nobody out. He retired the first 2. Got a hit on Peraza, 0-2. Peraza fouled off a couple of tough pitches. And then he hit a ball that was on the knee-high outside corner and plunked it into center field for the game-winning hit.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to tip your hat to the batter. He did a great job fighting off a couple, and we were talking in the booth saying Warren needs to bounce this one because he's in swing mode and he's been staying on that slider. Good job of just dinking it in there.
And he goes down swinging on the breaking ball, and Holmes has his 5th strikeout of the day, and all of a sudden Clay's retired 6 in a row.
Yeah, that was a good curveball by Clay right there. When you've got the kind of sinker he does that comes hard into you, when you see that ball like there, you see the hesitation in his swing. Thought it was going to be hard, then tried to adjust, not able to do it.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now the catcher and number 9 hitter, Sebastian Rivero, who struck out his first time up, and takes that sinker out of the strike zone for ball 1. Benz took that foul ball. Foot, I think.
That's one thing as a catcher that you know you're in for a lot of foul balls, and you're going to get beat up with a guy like Clay Holmes and mound with a sinker because so many balls go below the barrel, and so you're going to get foul tips. Same with Nolan McLean. Just got to be ready for it.
That's hooked into left field, and that's going to be down for a base hit for Rivero. Melendez cuts it off at the line and holds him to a single. Just the 3rd hit against Holmes, all singles today.
Another one off the end of the bat. As we talked about, tough to square up, play because of the movement. You see how he has to go down and get that ball. Nice job being able to reach that pitch. Good pitch by Clay, low and away. Just a better job of hitting.
So now Holmes starts his third time around the batting order. Zach Neto walked and scored to the first, the only Angels run of the day. And he swings and misses at a first pitch sinker, 0-1. Neto now 0 for his last 16 after flying out to left field his last time up. And Neto pulls one third. Beatty going to go to first with it. Plenty of time to retire the side. 5 strong from Clay Holmes in a 2-1 Met lead after 5. The Watchung Pediatrics Bananas.
Yeah, I think their hats might be a little big. Are their hats a little big? I'm going to get those tightened up a little bit. That'd be good.
Thanks, kids. Send us more photos. Fun job, y'all. Mets have a 2-1 lead as we go to the 6th. Clay Holmes pitching brilliantly. Gave up a run in the first, nothing since. Carson Benj has walked twice. Second time was right in front of Vientos' 2-run homer. And the second time that Benj has walked twice in a big league game. First time was on opening day. Hanowitz has walked 3, struck out 6. Allowed 2 runs and 4 hits.
Carson just looks like he's getting more and more comfortable at the plate as we go. That last at bat, good job of fouling off some tough pitches to earn that walk.
Takes a slider outside. It's 2-1. Kahanowitz pushing toward his pitch limit, so they keep the bullpen cranking for the Angels. And Benj grounds one on the right side. Grissom in front of it. 1 away. And now Vientos, who hit one into the rocks in left center field, 427 feet away, to give the Mets their 2 runs, his 3rd home run of the season. Takes the first pitch slider high.
There's the fastball down, out over the plate. Mark, like we talked about, when he stays through the middle of the field, gets great carry on the ball. That one sounded great and went well.
Ground ball toward the hole. Neto with a nice backhand play. The off-balance throw right on target. Beautiful play by Zach Neto. Got rid of that ball in a nonce. And right on target to Shonowell at first.
And that was clear that Zach Neto knew who his runner was. Mark Vientos, not a fast runner, so he gets this ball and doesn't try to plant and throw hard. Has done this in practice 100 times. Off balance throw right on target. Vientos, you're running like, I'll get there, but nice play.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Tyrone Taylor has flied out and grounded out 0 for 2. Tyrone Taylor from not too far from here in Torrance, California. About 30 miles away. Chops one down to third. Easy play for Peraza. And a 1-2-3 inning on 3 ground balls for Kahanowitz. Still 2-1 New York.
You want to put all...
Trout leads off the home 6th inning against Clay Holmes. Mets with a 2-1 lead. Trout's been aboard both times up with a walk and a single. And Holmes starts him off with a sinker for a strike. 0-1. I gave up a run in the first after walking the first 2 batters of the game. But he's been impeccable since. Trout fouls off the sweeper, and it's 0-2. What has really characterized Holmes' season is that it hasn't mattered left-hander or right-handers. He He's held both groups under 200 this year. And Trout takes strike 3 call. Now looking at a changeup. 6 strikeouts for Holmes as Trout is retired for the first time today.
The usage on the day, that 2-seam fastball, we talked about that sinker, up a little bit from his on-season average, but the curveball being used effectively today 19.2% of the time, as opposed to usually around 9% of the time.
Not quite leaning on the sinker as much as he did in that game against the Twins when he threw it 73% of the time, but still nearly 60% usage. For the season, he's thrown the 4-seamer, the 2-seamer 49% of the time. Shotwell lines one into right field, and he's got a base hit against the sinker. 3rd hit in the series for Shotwell, a 1-out single.
Shotwell hit a rope last time up for an out. This time hits it hard again. The sinker stayed up in the middle of the strike zone a little bit, able to get the barrel to it without rolling it over.
And now Jorge Soler drove in the Angels' run with a first-inning single. His 26th RBI of the year.
Got the infield shaded to pull again. Double play ball that he's looking for is to the third base or shortstop in that hole.
That's a turn 2 ground ball double plays already in this game. That's smacked out to left center field. Back in the gap, Melendez reaches and dives, and he got it. Melendez, who got a late start going toward the gap, closes ground and makes the diving play to rob Soler of an extra base hit. 2 out.
We're up here when that ball was hit. I thought it was going to split the gap. I thought it was hit maybe a little bit harder than it was. Maybe he got it a little towards the end, enough to keep it in the air long enough for Melendez. As you said, a little late break, but made up ground. Nice diving play.
That's the defensive gem of the game for the Mets. From an unexpected source, Melendez, who has spent a lot of his time with the Mets as a DH, getting a chance to play left with Soto DHing, and turns in a sparkling play. Now Joe Adell, and he takes a sinker down for ball 1. Adell grounded into a double play and struck out in his first 2 at-bats after a 3-hit game last night. Shotwell at first with 2 down. And Adell fouls off that sinker, and it's 1-1.
We talked about the fact that Torrens was going to be prepared, shaking out that leg a little bit, another foul tip. Not unusual with a good sinker out on the mound. Still doesn't make it any fun though, Gary.
One to Adell. And he went around on a sweeper that was 2 feet off the plate. 1-2.
That's a perfect indication of how Clay Holmes' velocity with that sinker coming in at you can make you try to commit to something, swing at something that's in the other batter's box because you think it's coming back into you, goes the other way.
27 pitches, a season high in the first inning, efficient since. And he tried to front door that curveball, and it almost got there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Josh Lowe would be next. He's trying to put the brakes on this 6th inning. And Adell lifts one to left center. Should be easy for Melendez. And the side retired. Much easier play for Melendez, who turned in a gem to help Holmes through the 6th. It's 2-1. 7th inning, 2-1 New York. Luis Torrens takes a high fastball from Jack Kahanowitz. Kahanowitz has already thrown a season-high 99 pitches, but staying on to start the 7th with 2 right-handed bats up, Torrens and then Bichette. The Angels have a lefty, Taylor Saucedo, who was just called up today, up in the bullpen, with Soto due up 3rd in the inning. Let's have 3 lefties in a row: Soto, Melendez, and Beatty. 2, 3, and 4 in the order. Let's mix the outside corner. It's 2-1 to Torrens. Kahanowitz turned in a 1-2-3 6th inning. So letting him go past 100 pitches for the first time this year. And this is away with a fastball, and it's 3-1. His career high is 104 pitches. Renz is grounded out and struck out. And he tries to poke one the other way and fouls it off, and it's 3-2. Hanowitz will match his career high pitch count with this next pitch. And Terren smacks it to right field, but right at Soler. And that's the first out. So 1 out and nobody on, and Bo Bichette will come up. And you have to figure this will be the last batter for Kahanowitz. Jack Kahanowitz, Philadelphia native, grew up on the main line, Bryn Mawr. 3rd round pick by the Angels in 2019. Very rough year last year, but off to a great start this year, and a pitcher's duel with Clay Holmes. This is up and away to Bichette, who's 1 for 3. Single to center in the 3rd. Bichette getting the start at shortstop today with Ronnie Mauricio fracturing his thumb last night. Just his 2nd shortstop start this year. Well, that slider just missed. 2 balls, no strikes. 106 pitches. That matches the most by any Angel this year. Jose Soriano had a 106 pitch outing. He's been their ace. Inside, and now he's behind Bichette 3-0. So he fell behind Terren's 3-1 before getting to line out. Now he's 3-0 to Bichette.
Well, not one to take a lot of pitches, but this is a good opportunity. He's at the end of his rope. See what he does.
Now he'll give himself a hit sign.
Yep.
And he chops one over the bag, and that's just foul. Just barely missed an extra base hit. Not been too many pitchers this year in Major League Baseball who've thrown 110 or more pitches. But Kahanowitz is about to do that. He's given up just 4 hits, including the home run to Vientos. That's the difference in this game. It's only the 2nd home run he's allowed in 7 starts this season. Three-2 to Bichette. And he hits one toward the hole, backhanded by Neto, and it's under his glove, and Bichette is safe at first. Now Neto, who made a play on a more spectacular fashion on the ball by Vientos in the last inning, couldn't handle this one. It'll be a base hit for Bichette, and it'll be the end of the line for Kahanowitz. With Soto coming up, they'll want the lefty in the game.
Kahanowitz very good, as advertised. A lot of ground balls, quality outing.
Call to the bullpen brought to you by Nissan. Shop NissanUSA.com. Mets will be in Denver tomorrow. Their first series with the Rockies did not go well, as the Rockies have lost 119 games last year, swept a 3-game series. Rockies have lost 4 out of 5 since, and they're down to the Braves 8-5 in the 8th today. But Mickey Moniak is red hot. Moniak hit a 2-run homer today. Now it's a 16-game hitting streak. Prevagen brings you the probable starters. David Peterson will pitch at some point tomorrow with an opener or not against Tomoyuki Sagano. And then Lorenzen and Quintana, both of whom pitched well against the Mets, go in the next 2 days against Peralta and Scott. Veteran left-hander Taylor Saucedo making his Angels debut. And his first slider is in for a strike to Juan Soto. Saucedo pitched the last 3 years with Seattle after a couple of years in Toronto. Just called up today with Yusei Kikuchi going on the injured list for the Angels. Soto's 0 for 3 today. Bichette at first with 1 out. And that slider, he stopped the swing. No, he went around. Third base umpire John Tumpane said he swung, and it's 0-2.
Saucedo with that little side arm delivery, tough on left-handers. That's why he's in here to face Juan Soto. Got him to chase a little bit on that slider.
And that one bounces away from Rivero, and down to second base goes Bichette. So after getting Soto to bite on a couple of sliders, Saucedo tried to get a little bit more on it.
Tried to move out in front of it, not able to get his body all the way out in front of it, but starting on the one knee like that, so it comes up on the knee, ricochets almost to the netting behind him.
Now runner in scoring position for Soto. Melendez on deck. 1-2 from Saucedo, and he struck him out, went away with the fastball. Soto was struck out for the second time today, 2 out in the inning.
It's one thing we haven't seen out of Juan is that chase. It's something that he's been so locked in for a little while coming in. You don't see him chasing like that, and he's very frustrated with himself right now.
Now Austin Slater will bat for MJ Melendez. Slater got his first start for the Mets last night and had a single and a double in 3 trips. He's here to hit lefties, and he'll get that opportunity here against Saucedo. Jack Kahanowitz threw 110 pitches over 6 1/3, 5 hits, 2 runs so far, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, a home run. Only the 4th pitcher in the majors this year to throw 110 or more pitches. Shed at second with 2 out. And Slater takes one on the outside corner for a strike, 0-1. Slater not only had 2 hits last night, he had the Mets' second outfield assist of the season. Throwing out a runner at third base. Changeup misses outside, a ball and a strike.
Runner he threw out at third base turned out to be the difference in the game, because that was in that first inning when he gets the out there before the run scores and they appeal it, maybe a different outcome.
Saucedo keeping the ball away from Slater, and now it's 2-1.
His left-hander Beatty on deck. Obviously, Saucedo much tougher on lefties. Be careful here with Slater.
First base open. Dribbles one foul. And now it's 2-2. Right-hander Nick Sandlin is now up in the Angels bullpen. Austin Slater began his year with the Marlins. 3 for 7 so far as a Met. 2-2 from Saucedo, and he buries that one in the dirt. Now it's 3-2. That's 2 runs and 5 hits. The Angels 1 run and 4 hits. We're in the 7th. 32-year-old Honolulu native Taylor Saucedo. Slater takes strike 3 call. Got him looking at a sweeper. Back-to-back strikeouts for Saucedo to get the Angels through the 7th. Still 2-1 Mets.
Tomorrow, the Mets stay on the move as they take on the Rockies in a matchup at Coors Field. Mets and Rockies. Coverage begins with pregame. Tomorrow at 8, only at SNY.
Now Bichette looks one toward the gap in left center field. Racing back on it. He won't get there. It's off the wall. And he hits one long. And it's out of here. Some of the 11,000 Little Leaguers who are on hand here today at Angel Stadium. Clay Holmes has gotten the Mets through 6 with a 2-1 lead. He stays on for the 7th. He's already gone 7 innings twice this year. 2 of the 3 times this season that a Mets starter has gone 7 have belonged to Holmes. Josh Lowe, Vaughn Grissom, and Oswald Peraza to face him in the home 7th. Ball a strike to Lowe, who's looking for his first hit in this series. He's 0 for 9 in the 3 games. Austin Slater, after pinch hitting, stays in the game in left field. Fly ball, right center field. Benj easing back to the track, back at the fence, and he made the catch right up against the wall. Carson Benj had just enough room as Josh Lowe comes up short for the first out.
Yeah, and you see the flags blowing out towards right center, so that ball continued to carry. I think Carson thought he was going to catch it easily on the track, and it just continued to drift. Nice job staying with it, up against the wall.
So one long out, and now Vaughn Grissom, who's walked and grounded out, and he swings and misses at a changeup, 0-1.
Benj one more time, knows he's on the track, can't tell quite where the wall is. Jumps, he had one more step, but great job with him staying with it.
That's about some fine outfield play behind Holmes the last couple of innings. That's yanked foul. Melendez diving to rob Soler of an extra base hit in the 6th, and now Benj catching one at the fence to deny Lowe. Holmes' high pitch count this year came in his last start. He threw 94 against the Nats. Weaver is up in the Mets bullpen. 0-2 to Grissom. That sweeper misses up and away, 1-2. Mickey Moniak is homered again, second of the day for the Rockies to cut the Braves lead to 8-6. Now in the 9th in Denver. Mets will have to find a way to cool down Moniak tomorrow. Breaking ball bounced just outside the bag. Foul ball.
Maybe they're hoping that the snow that's coming in will cool him down a little bit.
I mean, it's May.
Yeah, usually you're on a road trip like this, you're like, okay, the offense is going to get going when you go to Colorado. And then you're like, well, unless it snows, then it becomes more of a pitcher's paradise.
So it'll be 30 in Denver and 100 in Phoenix. It's a good way to get sick. 1-2 coming. Line towards short. One hopper. Bichette on the backhand has the long throw to make, and in time. Beautifully done by Bichette. He planted and unloaded, and he gets Grissom for the second out.
That's a really nice play by Bo right there, knowing his timing. Look, this guy's played shortstop all of his life, but when he's been so motivated to be good at third base, still knowing that he gets on that back foot, plants and throws, perfect strike all the way over to first base to Vientos.
Mitchell Allstate, good hands play. 2 out and nobody on for Oswald Peraza. He chops one foul, 0-1. Peraza's grounded into a double play and struck out 0 for 2. So Holmes at a season high 96 pitches, his career high 104 last season. And if you can get through Peraza, then you've got a perfect lane for Weaver in the 8th, with Trout and Neto at the top of the order. Gets ahead on Peraza, 1-2.
Got Peraza chasing last time up, strike him out on that sweeper. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go back to that.
Holmes has walked 3, struck out 7. Tap to short, another backhand play for Bichette. The quick throw on a hop, and bobbled by Vientos, and safe at first is Peraza. That time Bichette purposely bounced it, but Vientos not equal to it.
In between hop for Vientos at first base. Not an easy play. Thought he had it, but wasn't able to squeeze it. Bo making a lot of those plays at third base with the good long hop. At shortstop, a little shorter throw. That one handcuffed Mark a little bit.
It's going to be an E6. That's kind of an unfair E. Certainly a throw that Vientos should have handled. Now we're get a pinch hitter for Sebastian Rivero. Yoan Moncada will come up to pinch hit. And here comes Carlos Mendoza. See if he's going to make the change.
I was wondering if he'd made his decision up. Looks like he has.
He has. He's going to bring Weaver into the game to face Moncada. So Holmes is out after 6 2/3. Another terrific outing for Clay. Leaves with a 2-1 lead. We'll be right back. Hey kids, you can join us in the booth to call half an inning of a Mets game on SNY. Parents, scan the code and submit your child's video for a chance to win the 2026 SNY Kidcaster contest presented by HSS. Luke Weaver called upon to try and get the final out in the bottom of the 7th. Pitched a 1-2-3 8th inning in the Mets' victory on Friday night. Face the pinch hitter Yoan Moncada, who started the opening game of this series. Moncada came off the bench yesterday and had a pinch hit double in the 9th inning. Tying run Peraza at first with 2 down. Moncada switch hitter, much better left-hand batter, and he takes first pitch fastball for a strike. Moncada has had 4 career at-bats against Weaver, 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. And Moncada goes after that changeup and comes up empty, and it's 0-2.
Good changeup right there by Luke. Pulls the string. Moncada out in front of it, thinking fastball. And when Luke Weaver is at his best, that's what he's going to do to you, throw that changeup at the knees.
0-2 coming. This is with a changeup, 1-2. Clay Holmes threw a season-high 99 pitches, 6 2/3, 4 hits, 1 run so far, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. Weaver trying to keep the lead in the 7th. 1-2 to Moncada. And he struck him out with the changeup. Weaver gets his man, and we go off to the 8th inning with the Mets still up 2-1.
Post-game live on the way. Another strong outing by Clay Holmes.
Really good job of settling in after early walks and using that curveball for punch-outs.
All right, see you guys on the post-game show here.
And the first pitch of the 8th inning hits Brett Beatty as Taylor Saucedo came inside, and Nick Beatty, second Met to get hit in this game, and it gives the Mets a leadoff base runner in the 8th.
Kept Saucedo in there really to just face Brett Beatty. Lets that slider get away from him, backs up, gets Beatty on the elbow. Probably not happy about that.
Kurt Suzuki on his way out to the mound. He's got the right-hander Nick Sandlin ready in the bullpen. He's yet to make the sign. You've got Semien coming up and then Benj, and they will go to Sandlin. So Saucedo throws 1 pitch in the 8th inning, hits Beatty with it, and the Mets, looking for some insurance, will face the right-hander Sandlin. 2-1 Mets in the 8th. We'll be right back.
If you know, you Verbo.
Well, the Mets will be saying goodbye to the California coastline and hello to the Rocky Mountains. From perfect weather in Southern California to snow in Colorado.
Marine layer to a little snow flurry. That's a contrast here.
Veteran right-hander Nick Sandlin on to try and clean up the 8th inning. Sandlin pitched 2 hitless innings on Friday night. Former Cleveland Guardian comes in to face Marcus Semien, who's 0 for 3 tonight. A fly ball and 2 strikeouts. Beatty at first and nobody out. Mets up 2-1 in the 8th. And Sandlin gets his first slider in for a strike, 0-1.
These Mets hitters going to be prepared to see a lot of off speed. Sandlin throws more off speed about 79% of the time compared to anybody else in the American League.
There's a ton of splitters, and that slow slider you just saw. It's yanked foul, and now it's 0-2 to Semien, who's seen a steady diet of sliders tonight.
Yes.
Today. Let's see. Yeah, it's 6:14 in New York.
Yeah, it's evening in New York. Yeah.
Press and Benj on deck. Marcus watches that slider away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Sandlin with that 3/4 arm angle, throws across his body, trying to make it tough on the right-handers. Throws that sweeper outside, and then he'll throw the splitter to make it look like the fastball, and then it dives out of the zone.
Not a hard thrower. Doesn't strike out many. Walks more than he should. And Semien chops one. Tough play. Out to get it, Darno. His throw is on target. Beatty moves to second. Travis d'Arnaud just into the game after Rivero left for a pinch hitter. And the 2-3 putout gets the first out of the inning.
d'Arnaud does a good job, circles it, bare hands it, makes the strike throw, and of course, when you come into the game, you expect that the ball's going to find you.
So now Carson Bench, who's walked twice and scored a run, rounded out his last time up, trying to pick up Beatty from second base. Takes first pitch splitter down for ball one.
I think this could be a good matchup for Carson Bench. That splitter is his attack pitch against left-handers, and Carson's been staying back. When he's seeing the ball well, he can drive it either way.
He rips that one to right field. That's going to be down for a base hit. Beatty around third. He'll come in to score. Bench heads to second. He's in standing with an RBI double. And the Mets get the insurance run they were looking for. It's now 3-1 New York. Carson Bench with the RBI double. 7th run batted into the season. And the Mets go up by 2.
I've been impressed with his takes all day. He's had a couple of walks. Making him a little more patient at the plate. He didn't chase the first one, got that splitter that stayed in the middle of the zone, and was able to drive it to right field. You see Sandlin trying to turn that one over. Carson staying back, gets it off the end a little bit, but waited on the ball well.
And now Mark Vientos, who was responsible for the first 2 Met runs with a tape measure home run in the 4th. His 3rd of the year. Now looking to get Bench home from second base. So the leadoff hit batsman proving costly to the Angels. So Sato winds up going 2/3 of an inning plus 1 batter in the 8th. No hits, but a hit batsman, a wild pitch, a couple of strikeouts, and now charged with a run. 2-0 to Vientos with Tyrone Taylor on deck. And that slider bends in for a strike, and it's 2-1.
Mark should expect that one again. Be ready for that slider.
And he drives that one to deep left field. Forget that. That is way out of here. 2nd of the game for Mark Vientos. A 2-run shot to put the Mets up 5-1. He was ready for that slider, and he hit it a ton into the bullpen in left field. A 2-home run game for Vientos, the 6th multiple home run game of his career. And the Mets with 3 runs in the 8th inning as Vientos drives his 2nd 2-run homer of the day.
That's a great at-bat by Mark. I love the 2-0 take. He turns his back to the ball as if that fooled him, and then he was sitting on this slider. Sandlin left it in the middle of the plate. Vientos did what he should have done and deposited it. Got to sit back when the guy's coming from the side. Contact, ball's up. Mark stays right on it. He knew it right away.
Only the 2nd home run Sandlin's allowed this year.
Pitch is called a strike, batter's challenging.
Tyrone Taylor is challenging that last strike call. But it stays a strike, and the Mets are out of challenges for the day.
New York is out of challenges.
Well, Vientos would like to get used to wearing that helmet and reflective vest. He came into the day with 2 home runs for the season. He has 2 home runs today.
It's a great sign for the Mets. They want to see something out of Beatty and Vientos, guys that they've counted on. Beatty's had some good at-bats today, and Mark certainly a couple of big home runs.
Well, we said earlier the Mets need somebody to slug because they haven't been getting much. As d'Arnaud tries to settle into that pop-up and has it for the 2nd out. Mets came into the day with 25 home runs through their first 33 games, 12th in the National League in home runs, last in the league in slugging percentage. It's only the second multiple home run game for a Met this year. Alvarez had 2 against the Giants a month ago today. And now Vientos provides a pair of 2-run homers to give the Mets a 4-run lead. Here's Torrens, who's 0 for 3 today. Well, the Angels bullpen was good last night, but that's been a rarity lately. Last night they got 3 2/3 hitless innings out of their bullpen in their 10-inning win. But the bullpen's given up 3 runs in the 8th inning today. And that's 2 high, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Torrens keeps the inning going. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Optimum. Don't take slow for an answer. Get Optimum Fiber Internet. Visit Optimum.com for details. By your local Honda dealers. Contact your local Honda dealer today. And by the State Farm agent of the game, Floor Cawley of Glendale, New York. Contact Floor at floorcawley.com. Mike Maddox, the veteran pitching coach, out with the hand on the shoulder for Nick Sandler. You know, if I were Nick Sandler, and I'm very much not, I would have to use Mariano Rivera's entry music.
Enter Sandman, yeah, we heard something a little different than Enter Sandman.
It was much less motivation.
It was a little less motivational, but then you're also talking about trying to mimic one of the greatest closer of all time. So.
You know what Billy Wagner used?
Aspire.
Billy Wagner used the same walk-in music. He used Enter Sandman.
There's another Hall of Famer you're talking about.
Well, shouldn't you aspire to be like the Hall of Famers?
Aspire.
Well, Bichette is 2 for 4 today. That's at 3 runs home in this 8th inning. And just get another arm up in their bullpen. Lefty Drew Pomerantz has begun to throw. Bichette lays off the slider. 2 balls and a strike.
Going back to the Vientos slugging, it's going to make an interesting problem to have for Carlos Mendoza to decide with Beatty and the shortstop position. You got to have both those guys in the lineup potentially.
Fly ball into shallow center field. Trout comes quickly. Out goes Neto. Trout gets there and makes the catch. And the inning comes to an end. But the Mets get 3. Bench and RBI double. Vientos a 2-run homer. It's 5-1. On Sports Night comes your way tonight at 11 of the entire day in baseball. Get you ready for Keith's return tomorrow night. And Knicks Sixers game 1 on tap. On Sports Night tonight and every night. Big night for Mark Vientos. Pair of 2-run homers. Clay Holmes was magnificent again. Luke Weaver got the final out in the 7th to protect a 1-run lead. Now it's a 4-run lead as he faces the top of the batting order in the 8th. Zach Neto 0 for 2 and a walk. Now 0 for his last 17 after flying out and grounding out his last 2 at-bats. And he pops this one up behind third. Beatty retreats along the line and catches it in fair territory. 1 pitch, 1 retired in the 8th. Well, the Mets are going to Colorado. The Rockies just lost another one to the Braves, 11-6. Jonah Heim drove in 5 for the Braves, who are now 25-10. Rockies have now lost 5 of 6 since sweeping the Mets in New York. Mike Trout is 1 for 2 and a walk today. Trout has gone 4 for 10 in the series, but the Mets have kept him to 4 singles. His next extra base hit will be the 800th of his career. But the Mets have kept him from getting that, at least so far. It's been a great resurgence, though, for Trout, who's now reached base safely in 22 straight games. Weaver with a good changeup gets ahead on Trout, 1-2.
Weaver, good place to go into Trout with his kind of fastballs up at the hands. He's been a lot more patient this year, but that's where you want to try to get him to swing and miss.
One-two coming. Fights that one off.
He went there with it, got a piece of it. Problem with the changeup for Luke Weaver with Trout is he's so good at the ball down, even out of the strike zone. You got to be careful, maybe even bounce it.
You know, this is the first time Mike Trout has ever faced Luke Weaver. Struck him out with the changeup. 2 men down in the 8th. I mean, that'll tell you how much Trout's been hurt the last few years.
Yeah, that is very surprising.
It was good to come away from the game with a souvenir. Oh, and you get a hug, too.
Everybody's happy about it. Frame that one. It's Mike Trout, too. It's a Mike Trout foul ball.
Here's your hug. Can I have the ball? 2 out and nobody on. Here's Nolan Shonowell. And he pounds one foul. So Weaver, who retired the side in order on Friday night in the 8th inning, has retired his first 3 today with a couple of strikeouts. Clay Holmes, by the way, with his 6 2/3 innings, allowing 1 run, lowered his league-leading ERA to 1.69. Spectacular. That's lined into right field, and Shonowell has his second hit of the day. Shonowell's bat stays in the strike zone a long time.
It does. That was a changeup that stayed out over the plate. And as you said, he looked like he was out in front of it, but the bat stayed in long enough to be able to get some barrel on it and knock it into right field.
So a 2-out single, and now Soler, who drove in the Angels' run with a first-inning single. He was robbed of an extra base hit by Melendez his last time up. MJ made a diving catch in left center. Weaver misses away with a cutter for ball 1. Holmes went 6 2/3, 1 run, 4 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, a season-high 99 pitches. He's been the sure thing in the Mets rotation. Mets only have 5 wins from their starters this year. Holmes has 3 of them and a chance for 4 today. Soler pops one up in foul ground, but this will go into the crowd. Mets will have David Peterson going either as a starter or with an opener in front of him tomorrow. The plan had been for Tobias Myers to give the Mets a substantial opener in front of Peterson tomorrow, but Myers had to be used last night for 2 2/3, so we'll see how that works out tomorrow in Denver. Swing and a miss, 1-2 to Soler. There's rain in the forecast tomorrow night in Denver. There's snow in the forecast Tuesday and Wednesday.
What would you rather see, Garen? Rain or snow? I think I'd actually rather see snow as a player than rain. I can't stand playing on a wet field.
You'd rather play on a snow-covered field?
Sure.
With
More likely that it gets called.
With like snowshoes?
No.
Hey, we've seen multiple incidents where it snowed 6 inches before the game and they shovel the field and we play.
Just makes for a good light white outline.
Strike 3 called. Soler caught looking on the outside corner, and Weaver gets 4 outs to get us to the 9th. 5-1 Mets.
Long Island.
There's the pier at Newport Beach.
That looks like home. A marina on one side or the other is part of the reason that there's a marine layer.
Juan Soto hits a cue ball off Drew Pomeranz. A low throw to first, dug out by Shonowell, and that's the first out of the 9th.
It's the first game where we've really seen Soto a little bit out of sorts, trying to attack the first pitch right there because he's had some frustrating at bats early and then kind of pulls off it. Speaking of frustrating, Pomeranz, frustrating outing so far. 4 home runs already on the year. Last time out, was the losing pitcher in the third of an inning.
Still going at age 37. Austin Slater up for the second time, and he takes a fastball strike. Pomerantz missed 3 full seasons before he came back with the Cubs last year, and he had a great year in Chicago. Now with the Angels, his 8th different big league team, and it has not gone well so far. He throws the fastball by Slater, and it's 0-2.
One of the few guys that you'll see, even in relief, with only 2-pitch mix. He's going to throw you a fastball or a knuckle curveball, and that's all you got to look for. But when he's got them going, they can both be effective.
A little more varied pitch mix when he was a starting pitcher, which he was for the majority of his career. He moved to the bullpen until 2020. First came up with the Rockies in 2011 as a starting pitcher. One-two coming to Slater. And curveball misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And it's a hard curve, even though it's a knuckle curve. It's not a real 12-6 type of break. It's got a little bit more horizontal break to it. Almost looks like a hard slider at times.
Slater pops one up behind first base, shading his eyes Shonowell as he runs for it, and he makes a nice catch. Shonowell had trouble with the sun, then he had to change his angle to the ball, and he found it and made a fine play.
That was a very nice recovery. That ball went up, and as you said, first it's in the sun, but now the flags are blowing out to right center. A little bit of something on it. That ball kept moving down the right field line. Nice job staying with that.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Brett Beatty, who's been on base 3 times in this game. Brett singled in the second, walked in the 5th, was hit by a pitch leading off the 8th, and scored 3 runs in the 8th to stretch their lead. Looks like Brooks Raley's going to get the 9th inning for the Mets. After Weaver got 4 outs, Raley is up, ready to pitch the 9th in a non-save situation. Save Devin Williams for tomorrow. Beatty swings and misses at the curveball, and it's 0-2. Pomerantz's numbers were ugly coming in, but he's looked awfully good in this inning. And Beatty goes down swinging on the fastball, so Pomerantz with a quick 1-2-3, and Brooks Raley will come in and try and close out a series win. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Nissan. Every Nissan is designed for people who refuse to settle for less. Visit NissanUSA.com or your local dealer. By Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, because where you're treated first matters. By Prevagen. And by Hyundai. Hyundai gives you America's best warranty on every new vehicle. Visit Hyundai.com for more information. Brooks Raley on to try and close this one out. That's with a 5-1 lead. Joe Adell leads off in the last of the 9th and takes it back to a sweeper outside for ball 1. Raley pitched on Friday night. Worked a 1-2-3 7th inning in the course of the Mets retiring the last 21 Angels hitters. Adell is 0 for 3 in this game. Grounded into a double play, struck out and flied out against Clay Holmes, who went 6 2/3, allowed just a run on 4 hits, and lowering his ERA to 1.69. Weaver went in inning and a third, no runs, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts, and now Raley looking for the final 3 outs. Josh Lowe on deck, and then Vaughn Grissom. And Adell lines one into left field, and the Angels have a leadoff base runner in the bottom of the 9th. 4th hit in the series for Adell.
Adell does a nice job of waiting on the sweeper. Stays through the middle of the strike zone and lines it into left field. Brooks Raley good against lefties and righties. Almost impossible for lefties who Josh Lowe's got to face right now.
And that will get Devin Williams at least doing some light tossing in the bullpen. There's Lowe swinging and missing at a changeup, 0-1.
Lefty's only 1 for 15 against Brooks Raley this season.
Lowe hit one to the right center field fence that Benj caught his last time up, and really quickly ahead of him 0-2.
Probably caught a little more plate than Brooks really wanted to, and now we'll try to stretch that out, see if he can get some chase.
Low pops one foul. That'll go out of play. Williams is just tossing a baseball in the air out there in the bullpen. But if anybody else gets on, he will start throwing for real. 0-2 coming. That sweeper off the plate. A ball and 2 strikes. Vaughn Grissom, right-hand hitter, waiting on deck. One-two to low. Struck him out. Got him with the sweeper. 1 man down in the 9th.
Well, that's what Raley does so well against lefties. Gets him thinking he's going to be on the plate, and then just extends it a little bit. Tough to lay off, tough to hit.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Vaughn Grissom. Grounded in the hole at shortstop, and Bichette made a nice play and threw him out in the 7th. And Grissom takes a fastball for a strike, 0-1. Mets are trying to win a road series for just the 2nd time this season. They won 3 out of 4 in San Francisco in early April. Quick pitch by Raley, and he got it past Grissom, 0-2. Haven't seen that before from Brooks.
No, he varies it a little bit, does a little shake of the glove, and then sometimes just come right at you.
Grissom pokes one down the right field line, and Bench dives and makes a fantastic catch. Oh, wow! Carson Bench with a poke gratuitous play, and there are 2 men down in the 9th.
I'm not going to say it was poke gratuitous, but I'm going to take your word for it. That was an amazing play. Wow, what a great jump he got, and wow, how he closes on the baseball.
That ball looked for certain as though it was going to land for an extra base hit, and Bench just came flying across the outfield and made a magnificent play.
That's as good a play as you're going to see anywhere in baseball, and it's not just the result, it's the jump on it, it's the ability to close ground, and just the way he plays with that reckless abandon of a young guy. Great to see. Wow.
So the Angels are down to their final out. Oswald Peraza swings and misses at a fastball. And the Mets have played some outfield defense in this game. Melendez made a great catch in the 6th inning against Soler, and now Bench with an even better one against Grissom. Cutter misses inside, a ball and a strike. Roz is 0 for 3 today after his walk-off hit last night. And a swing and a miss of a sweeper, and now the Angels are down to their final strike. One-two from Raley to Peraza. Got him looking, and the ball game is over. They're going to challenge the call. Why not? They had one in their pocket. And it is a strike, and the game is over.
Pitching strike, game's over.
Brooks Raley puts on the finishing touches with some help from Carson Bench. Mark Vientos with a huge day with 2 2-run homers. Another great start for Clay Holmes, and the Mets take 2 out of 3 in Anaheim as they beat the Angels 5-1.
Yeah, with Ronnie Mauricio going down last night, you knew there was going to be some changes. Really encouraging to see Beatty on base 3 times. Vientos coming through with 2 big home runs, giving Carlos some options out there in the field, and then what an amazing play and game for Carson Bench.
Today's win is brought to you by Moomoo. Download the app for access to exclusive Mets perks and smarter trading. Moomoo Financial Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Here's your game summary. Mets take 2 out of 3 in Anaheim. Mark Vientos drove in 4 with a pair of home runs. Mets win just their 2nd road series of the year. Mets starters now have 6 wins, and Clay Holmes has 4 of them. Lowered his ERA to 1.69 for the season. The Amazing Mets Foundation is proud to contribute $2,500 to Northwell Health and the Cass Institute for Women's Health. For every Mets win, for more information, visit northwell.edu/cats. Final score this afternoon, the Mets 5, the Angels 1. Mets will head to Denver to take on the Rockies tomorrow night. First game of the series, 8:40 Eastern Time, first pitch. Our coverage begins at 8 o'clock tomorrow, right here on SNY. Now for Todd Zeal, Steve Gelbs, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen in Anaheim. After this break, it's Mercedes-Benz Post-Game Live with Gary Apple and Jerry Blevins.